I had a kid ask me a great question today, though. I was teaching a grade 4 class, and at the end I was open up. I'm like, ask me anything you want. It can be about school, it can be about life, it can be about anything at all. Just, I'll give you some advice.
Good show.
And this kid asked, put up his hand in front of the whole class. She's like, what's your biggest loss you've ever experienced?
Damn, that's deep.
Right? I was like, fuck, girl, that's cold.
What do you say?
Well, I was like, I thought in my head, I'm like...
You're like, I don't know.
I did answer, because I was like, I thought in my head, I'm like, alright, I can't tell her a lot of this shit. Like, if the real answer, I probably couldn't tell her. So I was like, you know what? I've lived a pretty good life, little girl. I guess my cat died last Christmas, and I was like, Tabasco, shout out to you, buddy. And left it at that. And, like, everyone looked really sad. I probably shouldn't have said it.
But how old is this class?
Grade 4. It was a weird question.
Okay,
and I was like...
They should be ready.
Should have made up some fucking story for him to be like, well, you know, my whole family died in a plane crash, and it was my fault.
I sent them on the plane.
Welcome to the 51st Parallel. I'm your host, Alex, joined by Kyle.
What's up?
And Seth.
Yo, 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 yo.
And we got a good week for you, so we're going to hop right into it. Obviously, the big story from last week was the NHL trade deadline. Kyle, we're going to start with you. What was your biggest surprise at the trade deadline?
Maybe the biggest surprise. Not a lot of the moves were, surprising. Shattenkirk and Bishop, they've been talking about getting traded for a while. But surprising was David Desharnais getting traded to the Oilers. Really like that pickup for them. He was a good player playing with Pacioretty the last few seasons.
He was.
I think he'll be good to fit in with the young Oilers talent.
I'm surprised they got rid of him.
I was shocked.
He's played well there. He's a small guy, but he's made his career there. And they moved on him. They're a playoff team. I didn't really understand it.
They kind of won, I think they won 2 straight since they traded him. But they picked up some defensemen at the trade deadline in Montreal, so...
As an Oilers fan, I'm pretty stoked about it. I was happy. I mean, they didn't really have to trade any of their core players or any of their prospects, really. I mean...
The Oilers are making moves. The Oilers are making moves. I mean, it wasn't the biggest splash. Obviously, Kevin Shattenkirk, biggest splash. We all knew it was coming. Huge play.
The
Caps.
Surprising to the Caps. It's not the Caps year.
I'm kind of into it. Why not?
It's not. They're going to choke in playoffs like they always do.
Him. He's averaging about 20 minutes per game. He's a big player. He's not like some shit around D.
Oh, he's great.
He's great. I'm nervous because it's you see the Caps get him, you're like, well, there's no chance they're winning now. Just the more they get, the less of a chance they have, but you pray for them.
I'd like to see them go far. I'd like to see Ovi do well. I kind of like the dude.
It'd be exciting, but I don't know, man. I think Ovi plays for the golf course in those days.
In terms of Ben Bishop, I know there was a lot of talk of him. I don't understand LA. Quick just came back from the injury. Now they have Bishop. What's the need for this? They have 2 goalies who are viable. Don't you want Quick to get some good time and to get his confidence back? You paid for Bishop. You're not going to play them both. I don't really get it.
I also don't understand why you're picking up a 39-year-old Jerome McGinley who has 18 points this year. I get
he's a team spirit guy.
I should have came to the Flames.
He's a team spirit guy.
Motivations. Just for people. First off, ticket sales. Number 1, ticket sales, jersey sales.
They sell out every game anyways.
But just the atmosphere here would be crazy.
Yeah, it'd be like when the Oilers brought in Ryan Smith back in whatever.
And then what? They didn't make the playoffs for 6
but at least
years?
They had some spirit.
Team, and the Flames made small good moves. Okay, Michael Stone, he was picked up pre-deadline. He's an unreal pairing with TJ Brody. They are a great pair together. He needed that. Since then, since they played together in the last 5 games, they've actually played 6 together, but games to just get acclimated.
Yeah.
But the last 5 games, 6 points plus 6. In those games, Michael Stone's plus 4. He's playing on average 20 minutes per game. He's a rock. That's a good play. Curtis Lazar, I don't know about him. World Juniors, whatever, but young guy.
He's going to fit in with the team. Prospect. I like it.
Why not? Good play by Calgary.
Gave up a defenseman who barely plays and a second-round pick. We have lots of picks. We have lots of young players. That's why I don't think bringing in Jerome McGinley is why do you bring in someone who's 39? He literally can't skate with the team.
You don't play him. He literally plays 5 minutes. He comes in so people would be like, ooh, ah. And then he sits and then he scratches him half the time.
God, that would just be sad for McGinley, man. That would be a sad way to end his
I don't think he'd want to do that.
He's going to be doing that anyways in LA. Why not do it in the place he started? That's his career now.
Because Calgary's cold as shit and LA is awesome.
I guess
we're talking about this on the walk in here.
Yeah, I froze my ass off on the walk over, and we're right beside the Saddle.
Cold.
You think Jerome wants to do that?
It'll be playoff time. Am I warm up?
Maybe. Yeah.
Hopefully
one
they
time.
keep the winning streak going.
Man.
I love playoff time in Calgary. Actually, it's the best.
It is.
time.
I hate
There
the
you
Flames,
go.
but I love playoff time in the city. It is a fun city to be here for the playoffs. So what was the biggest move? Who won the NHL trade deadline? Seth?
I'm going to give it to the Caps. Like, I know it's just the logical play, the logical say, but they got the biggest player. They're one of the best teams. They're all in. I'm giving it to them.
Maybe say the Pens, kind of an underrated play, picking up Mark Streit, but
It
good
is a
puck
good
moving
play.
defenseman. He put up 52 points in 2014, 2015. So I like that one.
Seth, Kevin Durant last week goes down with a grade 2 MCL sprain and a tibial bone bruise in his left knee. How big of a deal is this for the Warriors?
All right, it's not 10 out of 10 big deal on the Richter scale because he's not out for the playoffs, but he's getting reevaluated in a month. That's reevaluated in a month. Okay, it's a big deal. He is their best defensive player. He's averaging 1.6 blocks per game. That leads the team. That's his career best. He's averaging 8.2 rebounds per game. That's his best. In terms of defensive rating, he's 6th in the league at 1.14.
Sorry, did you say he's at 1.6 rebounds per game? Or sorry, blocks?
8.2 rebounds per game, 1.6 blocks per game. He's playing 50% of his minutes at the power forward position. So he's a stud for them defensively. So it's going to matter defensively because they're already a small team.
Yeah, I think they're going to struggle without Durant. You saw it, they lost 2 straight last week for the first time in 184 games. They haven't lost 2 straight in one. That's insane.
Mentally, it's got to be different for them. It's got to be different.
Dude, and Curry's just off this year. He's been off since that ankle injury.
Clay and Curry are not shooting the same. Last year, Clay's shooting percentage from 3, 43%. This year, it's 40. Steph's last year, 45. This year, 39. So they're not as hot as they were last year. It's not the same stroke. And they were kind of relying on Durant a little bit, I think, just for like who he was and just to have him be gone for over a month.
And maybe more.
It's tough. It's got to be tough.
Yeah, no, I think maybe even worse though. Tonight, I don't know if you saw, but Bogut fractured his tibia tonight.
I saw that rough play
Wow.
for the Cavs. First game.
Biggest pickup for the Cavs.
Mm-hmm. It only makes sense though because you see Kevin Durant go out, so like the Cavs saw that, they're probably pumped up, and now they just got to take another shot.
Yeah.
The universe just balances out in the end, eh?
In terms of Steph Curry and the boys, I mean, they're gonna have to try and do what they did last year, but they don't have the pieces they had last year. Bogut's a good player. Harrison Barnes is a good player. Like, they're not going to be able to replace Durant, I feel, the way they think they are. I understand that in terms of like their offensive efficiency, it says that he's, I think, the least valuable player on the court in terms of the big four. But I think that's probably because a lot of the time he's off the court in times where they're just blowing people out and having fun and doing them 3-point dances on people.
I know,
So,
you almost have to take the Warriors stats and only use the first 3 quarters to
in
actually
many cases,
see how
in
they
many
are.
cases.
Like the 4th quarter usually doesn't matter.
So, I think it's a big deal.
Kyle, how big of a deal do you think it is?
I think it's a pretty big deal. I think they're going to be really missing him, especially in the playoffs if he's out for the first couple rounds.
They could have to play Houston, the Spurs, and OKC if they like in all 3 matchups. So,
Or even maybe New Orleans sneaks in. I
it
know
could be
it
a
would
tough
be
road for them,
insane,
especially if he's playing his first few games back in the first. Like, I still expect him to get to the finals, but it's not a slam dunk anymore.
All I gotta say is, Durant, I'm sorry you got hurt, man, but I love the drama. I'm so glad there's finally something interesting happening this season in the NBA.
Yeah, no, I really hope that the Raps or the Celtics can catch the Cavaliers.
Watching the Raps play lately, I just don't think they have a chance.
I agree,
but-
the
I still
Raptors
don't
won't.
think the Cavs will be caught by anybody.
I really hope the Celtics do.
In the NFL this year, there's some superstar free agents up for grabs. Just to name a few, we got Adrian Peterson, Jamal Charles, Brandon Marshall, Alshon Jeffrey, Terrell Pryor, and a bunch more. Kyle, who do you most want on your team, and who do you think's the best pickup?
I think the most valuable free agent this year is probably going to be, well, it will be Adrian Peterson because he's going to go to a team where he's not going to be running the ball 30 times. He's going to have a manageable workload. He might not get hurt again.
Interesting.
So I think he'll be the most valuable to a team in the end. Although, okay, I'm an Eagles fan and I don't want him on our team.
He'd almost be a good fit, wouldn't you think?
I don't want an old Adrian Peterson. I think they would run him too much.
That would be an Eagles thing to do.
I'd like to see the Eagles get like a defensive player, Calais Campbell, maybe Dante Hightower.
Doesn't mean they can't get both.
Doesn't mean they can't get both, but if I had to choose one, probably be Calais Campbell.
All right, I see value in AP. Even though some people say he's old, I get that. He played 3 games last year, and even though he had 2 serious injuries recently, he's a freak athlete. They weren't kind of like, he doesn't get nagging injuries. I think they were kind of just like one-time big moment things. So even though he's 31, he had 2 years off. The last time he came back from injury, he was the NFL leading rusher.
He came back from injury once pretty successful, but to do it twice, that's tough.
I know.
Man.
So I don't know if
That's
I fully
tough.
trust him, and he's only a 2 down back. The guy I would want the most is Alshon Jeffrey. In his last 3 years, he has had, prior to last year, he had 2,000-yard years, and then he had a year where he had an 800-yard year where he only played 9 games, where he had injuries. So he did have nagging injuries, 9 games, 800 yards. And then the next year he played 12 games, he had that suspension, and he had another 800 yards. So you average those out to 16-game years. Those are 4 straight seasons of 1,000 yards on a shitty Bears team. A terrible Bears team. The years when he went off, when they had a good team for a little bit, he had over 1,100 yards and over 1,400 yards. So he's still a stud and a guy who doesn't really come around in the free agent class often.
He is. I think he'll probably be the highest paid out of this class.
Where do you think he goes? I think Eagles could get him as well. I think he'd be another great fit.
The Eagles
there.
always make wild moves, and I love it. I kind of think maybe somewhere like Arizona would be a good spot for him. Maybe even like New England. There's talk of AP going to New England.
Brandon Marshall, I heard, could go to New England. That would be pretty good.
Brandon Marshall's another big one.
Brandon Marshall's a typical
He's
guy
better
that
than
New England pick
Alshon
up.
Jeffrey.
I don't think that's true. I think Brandon
his
Marshall.
quarterback the
Not
last
yet.
2 years was Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I don't
Yeah,
think he's better
but-
than him, right? I think he's just a bit too old to be better than him.
I think, yeah.
You know who I think would be another great place for Alshon to go? It'd be sick. Tennessee. They don't really have a stud
Oh my God,
receiver.
yeah.
They got a great quarterback, great run game. To have that deep ball with Mariota and Murray and like Henry in the backfield would be pretty deadly.
That'd be a deadly team. They'd probably make the playoffs next year. That'd be crazy.
I hope they make the playoffs. I like Mariota.
I do too, man. He led my fantasy team to some good days. Some good days last year.
Any love for Eddie Cakesy?
Eddie Lacy, man. I think Eddie Lacy is one of the most interesting free agents out there. I mean, first of all, if he signs a team, in their contract, he has to have a ban on trans fats. That guy...
The guy loves China food. And that quote, China food, as he calls it.
Really? Well, then that team's got to go to every Chinese restaurant in town and ban Eddie Lacy from that China food. All right? Because this guy, I think he has the biggest boom/bust potential of the entire bunch. I mean, he's either going to go somewhere, get fat again, and stink it up like he did this year, or he's going to go somewhere, get some actual help with his diet. The guy lit it up for the first year, got fat, sucked. If he can get skinny again, maybe he can be good again.
He was supposed to be skinny last year. He did all that P90X years, but remember, he just got the hurt ankle. But like when you have a hurt ankle and you're sitting on it, what can you do other than get fat?
It is. It's
food.
so easy to get
you
fat.
You can't
man.
work out. You're just going to get fat. And he's a
All
fat
right.
man.
So I think Eddie Lacy would be a good one. For my team, Seattle, I think the most interesting signing for them would be Terrell Pryor. A reasonably priced guy, and Seattle loves doing interesting things with athletic guys like that, and I think they could do a lot of trick plays and some fun
They
stuff.
have lots of good receivers already, too.
Mm-hmm.
Be a good fit, though.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, I agree with you, Seth. I think the number one value, or the best player available in free agency right now is Alshon Jeffrey. I think he's the best guy
He's
available.
going to get paid because there ain't no other receivers, really.
Yeah, he's gonna get paid by somebody. So the next topic on my list of the week here was supposed to be about GSP coming back with his first fight. Are we excited about it? As if that's an actual question. You are an ageist motherfucker, Kyle.
Freaking ageist. I'm an ageist, but not like this guy. I'm a different ageist.
Straight up. Some old men, they can still throw, they can still fight. So I don't even want to ask the question, are you excited? Because I am fucking excited for this fight. I am really excited for this fight. I'm going to watch it. It's scheduled for early July pay-per-view. I don't know what I'm doing
still
early
watch
July,
it.
but I know that I'm watching it. Seth, you're going to watch it?
I'll obviously still. I love GSP still. Like, I'm not as hyped as you, but I'm definitely way more hyped than Kyle because I still love GSP. I remember him. He's still be my favorite.
Dude? Remember? Remember 3 years ago?
Yeah,
That's a
I
long
do.
That was
ass
through
time.
a
That's
long ass
long
time to
break.
recover, man. A long
This
time to
dude's been
recover.
fighting the whole time.
He's been in the
yeah.
gym training though. Training's pretty hard.
Training's way different than actually fighting, though. You can't just train and expect to go win a fight. You have
he's
to
gonna
be
have
able-
rust for
Mhm,
sure.
he will
How
have
could
rust.
he not have rust and be nervous? Like he hasn't fought in 3 years. But I just think like, I know Bisping's the champion and all.
He doesn't seem like a
Bisping, dude.
Bisping seems like a fraud champion.
He's
to me.
also
He
I
got
don't
knocked out by
understand.
Dan Hendo Henderson, one of the most savage ways I've ever seen.
Yeah, I love that season of The Ultimate Fighter. That fucking rivalry between Dan Henderson and Michael Bisping was the best.
Are you gonna watch?
I'll watch it.
You're watching.
I ain't
I'll make
paying
you watch.
for it.
fuck.
I'm
guy.
streaming that shit.
I'll probably pay for it.
I'm gonna pay for it, man. I want to see that
Yo, I'm
HD
coming to one of
quality.
your guys' houses to watch.
All right, $5.
cover.
Okay, I'm watching at my house stream.
There you go. In terms of GSP and how old he is, alright, so GSP's 36. The average UFC age is 32. The average champion age is 32. He's fighting a guy who's 4 years older than him, I believe, or 3 years older than him, sorry. 3 years older than him. I think he's 39, Bisbee. Or is he 38? He might be 39. So he's fighting a guy who's 3 years older than him who's a champion. So, like, he's not even the older guy in the fight. If he fought at welterweight, Woodley's 34.
I know, so why do I want to go watch a fight with a 39-year-old or whatever, and a 38-year-old?
Because the guys can still
38,
toss. I mean,
and then a 37, he's going to be 37 by the time the fight happens.
look, Kyle, I think you just have a bad taste in your mouth
There's-
from Kimbo Slice versus Dada 3000.
No, I
That
didn't
was
watch
like a
that.
40-year-old fight that was BS and terrible.
I didn't watch that shit.
Well, I
If you
think
look
you
at
have a
the
bad taste in your
welterweight
mouth.
division, everyone in the top 5 is over 32. Everyone in the top
So
7...
you said the average age is 32. That's 5 years, like...
But 5 years that long?
That's not
Yeah,
that long,
dude.
especially for someone
When
who hasn't
you're
been
that
fighting
old
for
and
3
you're
years,
fighting,
though. He hasn't been
when you're-
fighting for 3
But
years.
his
Which
fight
is,
for 3 is not worn
Look at
down.
all professional athletes. They start to break down at 35. Every single sport.
Dude,
You
but
almost
that's-
can't maintain it.
honestly,
But I
no,
was gonna
that's
say
the
fighting's
average.
one where like there's a lot of older champions.
Fighting's worse. You're getting
there's-
punched
look
in
at
the
all the
face
older
every day.
champions.
Yeah, dude, I think you're just going off like what your gut tells you. But if you look at the facts
Look
are
at
telling
all
you
the
something
older
else.
champions. He took 3 years off, so he hasn't been getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
Champions get bullshit wins because they're the champion.
And dude, look at the
I
way that
agree.
the
I
They
agree
get
to an
there's
extent.
unanimous decisions.
And
'cause
obviously,
they're-
older guys get better fights because they're older, so there's
Yeah.
better chances.
and they have
for
the
belts.
name brand for the UFCs making the money.
But still, man,
Yes.
with the way medicine is evolved, I think the average age of guys is going up. I mean, you look at the NFL, you got friggin' Tom Brady playing at, what, 39, 40? That would never happen 20 years ago in the NFL. I think the fighting's the same thing. Yeah, you had younger champions back in the day. I think older guys are getting their
Let's
worst
say he
tit
loses
skilled.
this fight, though. I'm just curious. Let's say he loses
He's
this
done.
fight. He's
He doesn't
done,
come
right?
back.
There's
I
not
don't.
a
I
fight.
will not watch him again if he
Yeah,
loses this
okay.
fight.
And then if he wins it, then what? He's just like another super fight, or what?
Yeah, probably. Then he
Okay.
just chills at middleweight and is the greatest guy in
Maybe
the world.
retires again.
Yeah, you're right. He's like,
Oh,
needed $8 million. See you
You
later,
know what the fight's
UFC.
gonna be? It's gonna be him just taking Bisbing down.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, that's like, as
Double
long as
leg.
he is good with the technical, because that is an exciting fight, as long as they keep
Bisbing
moving.
does push the pace.
Mm-hmm. And I think GSP will try to stand with him for a minute, but final results. I'm excited. Seth, you're excited, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10.
I'm gonna go
So-
3 out of 10.
Oh,
On the
I'm an
excitement
8 out of
scale.
10, but I'm a big GSP fanboy. I just want to see that Frenchman fight again. Both the Golden State Warriors and Cleveland Cavaliers are struggling with injuries these days. Some of the other NBA teams are starting to see a glimmer of light at the end of this dark tunnel they've been in the last year and a half. So, Kyle, tell me, with the top 2 dogs being injured, down and out, maybe, which team do you think is the best potential? East versus West? Who are you taking? Who do you want to be and where do you want to be?
I want to be in the East for sure. Easiest route. And I want to be the Boston Celtics. They actually beat the Cavaliers the other night.
Oh wow.
LeBron James had a huge
Regular
night,
season,
like
yeah.
38, 17, and 8. Kyrie had 45, and they still lost.
Was it in Boston?
Yeah, it was at the Garden.
Well, there you go.
So, and then earlier this season, the Celtics only lost by 6 points to the Cavs, and they actually lost by 6 points in both games. So, out of any team in the East, I think they have the best shot of upsetting them in a playoff round.
All right. Do you trust in the Toronto Raptors?
Not really,
And they made
especially
it to the
without
Eastern
Kyle
Conference
Lowry.
Finals, right? And they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. The Boston Celtics, with this core group of players, has not even won a first round series in the fucking shit hole East, and they were the 3rd seed before. So this isn't like some team that's just all. They've had their opportunities, and they haven't even won one series against bad teams. And now they're just going to beat the Cavs, who just turn it on in the playoffs. I don't know about that, even with the Cavs for how they are.
Fair.
If I could be one team, I would want to be Houston. They're shooting insane amount of threes, shooting the lights out. If they get hot and they're playing Golden State in the second round, when Golden State is still a little shaky with KD coming back, they could catch them. They could catch them. That's where I want to be.
I think they could beat them too, yeah.
It's a tough road in the West because you have to play better teams, I feel, overall, but Golden State doesn't seem as threatening
They're
right
not
now.
scary right now.
And you know they're going to have to play hard teams all the way through. And something about LeBron, I can't see him letting... The best player on Cleveland is still there. I don't think the best player on Golden State is there anymore.
He's not.
NFL Combine was this previous weekend. One of the biggest stories was Myles Garrett. Had a great combine for a defensive lineman. But the question is, was it good enough for the Cleveland Browns to spend their hard-earned first overall draft pick on him? Seth?
This guy is a freaking beast. I don't know if we've ever seen someone like this guy. In terms of raw athleticism, it's crazy. He outran 10 of 12 quarterbacks in the 40 with a time of 4.64. He outran 8 of 28 running backs. In terms of his vertical, he had the second highest vertical of anyone in the combine. Receivers. People who are just meant to jump up and go get the ball. He did it better than any of them except for one guy. His broad jump, 128. Second most bench reps of all defensive linemen. He's a beast. One scout described him in only one word that he thought he could describe him with. Wolverine. He is going to be chosen as the number 1 pick. No ifs, ands, or doubts about it, I feel like. This guy is a beast. Take him. This guy's going to be a millionaire. He's like the next Von Miller type athlete, maybe even better. That's my opinion.
I 100% agree with you that Cleveland should sign the kid. I really hope that they don't. I hope that they just don't do it. I want to see
someone.
I want to see the kid succeed. I want to see him be good.
They're going to take one of the good quarterbacks who are like actually could have a decent chance at a career.
I don't think there's any quarterbacks that are like going to make any splash this year.
They still have the number 12 pick. They could take a quarterback.
They could still take Deshaun Watson. Then.
Yeah, I mean, all the top 5 prospects are all defensive players this year. I think that defense is going to be the focus. Honestly, though, I think for Cleveland that they should sign him. I mean, a good D-line is pretty crucial. Getting pressure on a quarterback can be the difference in the game. And I mean, they need somebody.
Quarterback, D-line, O-line. Those are the 3. And then DBs. But you need that. You need a pass rusher, and you need a quarterback. So there's no one that's worthy of the first overall pick as a QB.
There isn't. Nowhere close.
And he's like a no-doubter. It isn't like there's 3 or 4 options and then maybe a QB. Everyone else would take this guy. If you don't take him, it's known that he's going number 2 right away.
Absolutely. Agreed. Kyle, who'd you like at the Combine?
Reuben Foster gets into an argument with the fucking healthcare person and gets sent home before the interviews.
What did he get in an argument about?
I didn't hear what it was about, but kind of hilarious. The guy gets sent home.
Did he even do any of the tests?
No.
It was pre-thing. It was probably like some tape job or something.
What?
And he's your favorite athlete?
Yeah, he's
no,
your
I just thought
player.
that was hilarious. But honestly though, I'd love to see him go to the Eagles. I'd love to see him fall in the draft.
What does he play? What is he? I don't even know who
he plays.
He is.
Like DN, defensive like line. But other than that, I'd like to see them maybe take a running back like Leonard Fournette, Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook.
There's a lot of good running backs in this draft.
Running backs are back.
There is.
They're back.
They are back.
I agree. Running backs are a big deal in the NFL again.
Running backs are back.
Errors and omissions.
Kyle, when LeBron James actually went out for 38, 13, and 8, it was versus Atlanta the next day, not versus Boston.
Well, LeBron James still had a triple-double against Boston, and they still lost. So, fuck you, LeBron James.
Kyle, give us the rundown.
The Flames won 7 straight.
Can't wait till the Oilers beat them in playoffs.
Speaking of the Oilers, sitting in 2nd in the Pacific and 4th in the West.
They are going to fucking play the Flames, and the Flames are going to beat them.
Dustin Johnson, number 1 player in the world in golf. It's one of the last 2 tournaments he's played in. He's unbeatable.
Is it going to be Dustin Johnson 2018? Probably not.
The Oakland Raiders have said they have secured funding for a new stadium in Vegas.
Yeah, until they get to Vegas, it's like, this is just continuous talk. Just show me a freaking stadium there and then playing.
And John Ross breaks Chris Johnson's 40 record.
He wasn't wearing the shoes, though. He wasn't wearing the shoes for the island. He could have had a freaking island.
The guy can't swim, so what does he need a private island for?
I don't know. To chill? Party?
Give him a break.
Well, it's coming to the end of another week. Kyle, any closing comments for our fans out there?
I cannot wait for summer.
That's like far away, man. That's like not even that.
hate
Not
the
even
cold.
spring yet, bro.
I hate
like,
the cold.
Yeah, like get another freaking like time in there. Spring first.
Mm-hmm.
Fine.
Season. Spring.
Fine. I'm excited for the spring. Let's go.
There you go.
Seth, what's your final words?
Not too much. Everyone enjoy the conference tournaments this week. It'll be some good college basketball. It'll be some good college basketball.
I love seeing fans rush the court when their team wins and makes it to the tournament.
It'll be great.
It's exciting. Well, that's been another week on the 51st Parallel. Thanks for listening, being part of the circle. Follow us on Twitter at the 51st Parallel, and we'll see you next week.